Okay, after a month of not being able to do a video, here I am. I feel like I have a lot of things to say. So unfortunately, it's probably going to be a long video, and knowing me, it will be rambly. But the light on my camera doesn't work still, so I have you on the windowsill, and looks like my pupils are pretty dilated because of that, because of the sun, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, it's been a month. What's happened in a month? Well, I've been on that Vyvanse for a month. I started off at 30 milligrams and didn't notice anything right away, but did gradually notice that my appetite was suppressed. And that felt good because food wasn't on my mind all the time. Which invites boredom and other things, but it also started to I started to notice that when I woke up in the morning, I wasn't completely overwhelmed and bombarded by all the negativity. It's still there, but it's way less noisy. So then after 3 weeks of being on 30 milligrams, my doctor increased it to 50, which was the initial idea. And within that week, it was too much. Like, I was getting really nauseous in the afternoon. And the cramps in my neck and my shoulders were really bad. Like, so bad. And I was actually getting quite more depressed. So I asked him to, instead of waiting for our next appointment, I just asked him to decrease it to 40 and try that for a week or so, a couple of weeks. And it seems like it's a pretty good dose for me. Since I love talking about medication so much, apparently, I'm going to talk about it a little bit. So I have found that it's definitely decreased my appetite for the majority of the day. I've lost probably about 10 pounds, which is, like, I've gone on weight loss journeys a lot in my life, and usually if I'm pretty serious about it and can do well, the first month is always going to be a big one. All the extra water weight and all just the immediate difference from, and it's usually about 10 pounds, give or take. Might be a little bit more that I lost, but so really it's a matter of like seeing if I can change my habits and just kind of get healthy within, because what I am noticing with the appetite suppressing is that I'm really, really not interested in food for the majority of the day. So I wake up, I try and get up early, even if I just take my med and then sit in my bed for an hour until it kind of kicks in. Because over this past month and some, I've noticed that, like, now it's a little, like, it's a little different than it was before, and I'm getting used to it. But I'm noticing that, like, so I'll take the med in the morning. It takes about an hour for it to kick in for me. Then I have, kind of a little bit of an energy for life, a little bit, like definitely more than I was before. My brain is less noisy, very less noisy. It's still my brain, it's still me, so I'm still, I'm still battling with negativity, and I'm still battling with the depression and stuff, but it's way more manageable for now. But after about 6 or 7 hours, I start to crash pretty bad. And so I've been trying some things because and since I stopped drink, so my whole adult life, my routine is to get up, and whenever I do get up, if that's in the afternoon or if that's in the morning, usually if it's not in the afternoon, I will have coffee, but I like to have a coffee. I don't really like to eat. Might not be healthy, but it's just kind of been my routine. I know what I'm comfortable with, and I just can't eat really much in the morning. I never really have. But on the Vyvanse, it was just right after the medication and then caffeine, it was way too much, and then a huge crash. So I'm finding I am drinking my coffee, but I switched to decaf. It's made a big difference, but I still do get that bit of crash in the afternoon, and the med's starting to wear off. And unfortunately, with this med, it does increase my insomnia that I already have a bit. So what I'm finding is that I'm still kind of, and I'm not eating enough during the day. I have to get a better routine. I have to get a better kind of situation. But because, I kind of so with my decaf coffee, sorry, this is all over the place. I've added a high protein boost to it, a chocolate protein drink. And it's like drinking a mocha, and it gives me protein, and there's no caffeine in it, and it helps. And so at least I'm getting some kind of, and there's vitamins in it and stuff, but so I'm getting some nutrients in the morning. And then I typically, here and there, if I've made my boy lunch, he usually doesn't take it, but he'll eat it right after school, and then that's kind of when I tend to maybe have a little bite. But more often than not, it seems like I'm not eating until everyone's dinner, which we kind of have an early dinner. It's about 5. But when the night comes and my insomnia is there, and the med is wearing down, and I'm starting to think more, and I'm starting to feel hungry because I didn't really eat too much, and not huge hunger pains, but enough for my disordered self to find something to eat. It's not a whole lot, but it does tend to be starches and breads and carbs. And I can see how this can be quite an unhealthy habit. And so that's kind of where I'm at with the food wise and the weight loss wise with this med so far. I did have a consultation with the dietitian and then the weight loss doctor kind of, a couple of weeks ago, and they suggested that I write down a goal sheet thing. And she's actually the one that suggested caffeine or decaf coffee. And then I thought of the protein in the coffee. So So that was helpful. And then, but I have to increase my water. The med does make me even more, like, any of these, like, for your brain meds to, like, help with disorders seem to give you a lot of dryness, like dry mouth. I don't know what's going on with my scalp. It's been like this for a while. But it's really dry and like scaly and scabby, and I've always had like a bit of dandruff because I've not been very hygienically up to par, but this is like an absurd amount where it's like I have things to pick every day, like all day long, like lots of things to pick. I like sweep my bedroom and it's full of like chunks and flakes and you know, I just washed my bedding yesterday and it was like when I took my bedding off, it's gross. It's really, it's gross. But I'm being honest. Like, I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older and I'm getting more dry, or if it's, you know, kind of all of the above, the meds, the dryness, the older stuff. But my mouth is dry and I'm just dry. So I definitely have to increase my water intake. And I'm also taking vitamin B, like a complex vitamin B and vitamin D, just to kind of get those vitamins back up. And of course that makes you think that you're even more dehydrated because, you know, the excess vitamins make your pee really smelly and yellow. But anyway, oh, it's a month and I'm talking about my pee and dry skin. Cool. Like, Anyway, also with the Vyvanse, well, I kind of mentioned already, but like it's giving me, okay, so it's with that whole like way that I think that I was talking about before. I wasn't sure if it was like OCD or if it was anxiety or if it was depression or if it was all of them mixed up together, the PTSD kind of thing. So like everything is fearful, everything is like anxious. I gotta always think and to do. I still think like that, but it feels way less overwhelming. It's still overwhelming, definitely still overwhelming, because the way I live my life is just in order. Like it's not, I'm not actually living. I'm just, you know, surviving. I've always just known how to survive. So, but with the Vyvanse, it's calmed that down, and it's kind of like I'm realizing that like actually some of the things that like overwhelm me and have bombarded me, like I've slowly started to notice that I'm actually doing some of those things as soon as they come into my mind. If I notice that something needs to be done, it's way more possible for me to just kind of do it instead of just like, oh, that's just another thing. That's just another thing. It's another thing. And I'm just like too tired. So it is giving me like like I guess some energy and like just like I guess a positive type of like, it's just kind of like the energy is more so like things are possible. Things like, okay, I hate being in a dirty place. So but it's less bigger. It's like it's just like if there's something that I wanted to do and I see that it needs to get done, I'm more likely to do it these days. I cleaned my bedding. You know, so like I can do the surface stuff usually on a day-to-day basis sometimes. Not really. I've been doing the bare minimum, just trying to feed my family. But now it's like, oh, like the windowsill's dirty, let me wipe that off. Like it's not, you know what I mean? Like I'm not bombarded as much as I usually am. And so those little things make me feel better, and that like it's things are possible. It doesn't have to be so draining. Like the meal prep and the groceries and the making meals and stuff like that, it's still draining. It's still overwhelming because I'm not interested in making food my whole life all the fucking time. But I don't know. We'll have to see, because like my husband's been home for a little while and he's been kind of excited about the little smoker. We found a smoker that was used on Amazon, but because like Amazon took it back and like refurbished it or whatever, we got it for half price and it's like it's new. So he's been doing that, and like so I've been kind of not having to do meals much. So but he's back to work, so that'll change, and we'll see how I kind of handle. But I think it's gonna be easier, and I think it's less of a huge fucking deal. Like so Vyvanse for me is another game changer, I think, and I just have to like be able to work with it. Just like I modified like kind of my lifestyle and like how I was doing things with the decaf coffee and like putting the protein in it. I have to modify my lifestyle more and more gradually in order to really utilize the medication and what it does for me the best, if that makes sense. But what I am finding is that because of all these good things and because of all this like positive stuff, and that I get, sometimes I'm getting excited about like, oh, like, you know, I brought out the little easel that I bought my son for Christmas that he didn't really want. And I thought, okay, well, maybe I will. Like, I brought it out of the box, and so now it's kind of folded up in the corner in our living room. So more readily available to actually do something with it. I know you don't need an easel to start painting, but like, we have it. So it's kind of like it's just like a symbol to me that this is something that I would like to at least attempt. If not just like have a little fun with it. So, but, and also like, because of these things happening and like, oh, I'm able to do more, and I'm able to, kind of enjoy, moments at a time, even when I'm having to do something that, isn't particularly fun, but it feels good to get it done, like cleaning or, organizing or whatever. But I'm finding that like, I want that to happen every day. I want that to happen all day long. And it doesn't. Either my body can't catch up, or like right now my arthritis is pretty bad. I think it's the weather changes. I'm not sure. Or maybe I am moving my body more. I just haven't noticed. But it is really getting quite more sore or noticeable than I have before. But that's not the only thing. Like I'm finding that like it does decrease a lot of the things that stand in my way, which is my own thinking and my own body and stuff. But I still do think that way. Like I still am obsessive. I'm still like think like an addict, kind of like I still have my bad habits of. Well, I mean, my habits. I don't know if they're bad. I mean, according to everybody in the world, they're bad. So they're probably bad. But and that is like the watching excessive amounts of television or Netflix or movies or whatever, or just kind of lazing about. Because I find that what I do is like I obsess over getting something good to watch, and then I can't really stop watching it. Like, it's like I'm very much pulled to see it all through. Like, it doesn't matter if it's 10 fucking seasons. Like, I will, it's like I'll stay up all night just to try and get through the most so that but then I'm like, I don't know. It's just the moderation thing for me. It's the whole addiction thing. It's the same thing with food, but because my appetite's suppressed a little, quite a lot during the day, I'm noticing it more in other areas. And like it's difficult to see. Like, it's difficult for me to see that it's really hard for me to just kind of live in the moment and just do things that aren't, the next thing to kind of get through all of it, and just like, whether that's TV or food or just like thinking or organizing, or, you know what I mean? Like, I would like to be able to, but then maybe the reason why is because I don't have anything else to replace it with. I feel like I don't. I don't want to do any of the things that would replace that. Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll get there. It's definitely a work in progress, and it's definitely a good medication for me right now. So we'll see. That was long. That was 20 minutes of talking about one thing, but sorry. Anyway, I think it's important. I think it could help a lot of people, depending on their situation. There's a lot of banging going around in the condo here. Another big thing is just over a week ago, I got a phone call from a medical adjudicator or whatever from Service Canada, explaining to me that my reconsideration has been approved. So, and he was a really nice human being. It was so refreshing. And that was really exciting news, because I feel like, to be honest, I feel like I've been heard, I've been seen, and acknowledged, and the way that the fella on the phone was kind of praising me for my work, of like getting to be seen and doing the work, and adding in that extra information, like from the psychiatrist in 2018, my own letter about explaining why I believe I was denied CPP disability, and what I actually think, getting the letter from my doctor, telling my doctor kind of like what needs to be taken out, what needs to be added in. I got some praise there, and more so was the acknowledgement, and just it wasn't pity, but it was just like, it was empathy. And it was really surprising to get like a human being actually calling me from their private line at Service Canada, empathizing with me and telling me good job at like representing yourself and advocating for yourself, and absolutely you deserve to get some financial support from the government, and it's not much, because I don't have that much of an extended work history, but it's enough to make a difference. Like I was saying earlier, like my EMDR appointments are $200 a piece. This entitles me to actually see her probably more frequently than I should be. It's going to be 6 weeks by the time I get to see her again. It's already been a month and a bit, and I get to see her next week. Like, that's too long when I'm in the middle of this work. So it helps a lot. So that'll come through soon. I just got the call just over a week ago, and he said it probably will be about 60 days until we get the money. So there's going to be a bit of a lump sum from for a year. So that'll be a little chunk of change to get us back on, feeling a little bit more comfortable with things. Because it's been tight. And we've also been trying to, get out of debt. And it's been a little slower than what we originally thought, but we're doing it. And so that was really I'm a little bit embarrassed to say that it's exciting, because it's like, oh yay, you did a really good job at getting yourself on disability, and it's embarrassing because that's not something that normally you would feel proud about, that you are on disability. So it's a little bit hard because I am proud of myself for advocating for myself, and I'm excited that I've been seen and stuff, but it's also it's hard because I really am disabled. Anyway, I don't know. I guess we all have different ideas about what that word means, and it doesn't necessarily mean what I assume other people think it means. So it's good news, and it's going to help the family. I'm going to be able to bring in a little bit of money. So that helps me feel at least like I'm contributing to the greater good of this household, this family, a little bit. I always have been, I've always been, contributing, but financially matters too sometimes. In this day and age, unfortunately, you need everything you can get. Anyway, so it is what it is. It's good. It's good news. I think it also means that maybe if I need a hip replacement down the road, well, I will need one. I already need one, but I'm too young. And they say that I still have good use out of my natural hip. But it's really locked. It's really locked. Which, because my hip is locked, and I don't know the term they use, but it can't move. It can't move in certain in directions. And because it can't move in certain directions, my body compensates a lot. And so I'm quite crooked, and I'm quite like limpy, and especially because I'm overweight as well. It's affecting all the areas of my back, of my body, my back, my neck, my shoulders. Like, my posture is bad, yes, but a lot of it stems from the lack of movement that my bad hip has. That's probably why that's definitely why I have arthritis now in my right knee, because my left hip cannot be straight. It won't. So all my weight, if I'm standing, is on my right leg. All of it. For years. I had the car accident in 2004. So it's only going to get worse. Arthritis only gets worse. And because of the lock, my other body areas are only going to get worse. But there are things that I can do to not make that worse happen as fast. It doesn't. So hearing that, it sounds dreadful to me. Like, it just sounds awful. Like, you're fighting against something inevitable. You're fighting against your own body, that it's going to be like this. And with everything else, it just makes things less hopeful, less exciting for the future, right? Like, less easy, and more hard work, and just kind of like you're pushing against something that's going to happen anyway, that's like a negative thing, a hard thing, a hurting thing, a thing that's going against your own body. So if it was my choice alone, I would have a hip replacement right now. Because then, and because they say they only last 15, 20, maybe 25 years. But I'm 40. And I think 20 years of, less pain and being able to move my leg the way it's supposed to move, it'd be worth it for me. Because I could see at 60, 65 years old, I don't know, everybody's got different ideas about what their life is going to look like, but I can't. How worse am I going to be without a hip replacement until I'm 60? How bad am I going to... I wouldn't even be able to accept a hip replacement by then if I continue the way I am now. What would be the point? I would be so badly out of shape, so much in pain, that if I'm still alive, I would probably not be very healthy because of where this pain is taking me these days, these years. So that's kind of how I see it, is if I had it now, or, in the near future, maybe if I get a little bit more healthy in my mind again, in a couple of years, I could actually have some peace and freedom and do some more physical things in my life at kind of the idea of my prime. I've just never really had a chance. As soon as I became an adult, as soon as I became pregnant, I got this huge injury. And then on top of the mental illnesses, it just... I'm feeling a little bit like a victim, I guess, but it's not so much a victim. It's just I'm looking at the reality of it. I'm looking at sometimes we are forced to kind of be a victim, and we have to do what we can do to advocate for ourselves, even if it goes against the majority of what people are saying, And it's scary because if you're going against all the doctors and the people that see this all the time and like they know what they're doing. But I don't know. I know myself better than someone who's never seen me before. At least. I know I don't know myself that well, but anyway, anyway, it's okay. So, yeah, I'm finding that like my perspective is getting a little bit like, I think more factual, less busy with all like the rigmarole that usually goes on in my head, and it's more factual, and so I can see a little bit more clearly. And what I'm seeing is the hip thing and the pain, the body pain. Couple of these meds that I'm on, the naltrexone and the Vyvanse, both. Well, the naltrexone for sure helps with the overall body pains, for the most part. I'm not sure about the Vyvanse, because of those cramps and sore muscles I was getting. And maybe that has to do with, maybe that's the reason why I'm feeling my arthritis more. So maybe it's not really great for muscle pains and stuff, but we'll see. I don't know. It could just be, like I said, the weather change. But what I'm also being more clear about is that I definitely have long haul COVID. It's probably something that, among my mom dying around that time, my mom dying in February of 2020, the end of February 2020. And then within that year, so like when I went to her apartment, I believe I got COVID because immediately, shortly after that, 10 days after that, I was sick. With the fever and the chills and the body aches, and I couldn't go to work, and I had to isolate for 2 weeks. Nobody gave me a test. It was fairly early then. And then, I go back to work and, and it just all kind of ramped up. It all hit, and like my heart was racing and all that, and like, the breathing and, so anyway, and I may have got COVID again. I am double vaccinated. I haven't got my booster shot yet. But even if I didn't, I don't know. Like, I don't know. You have to search for information, but you can also search too deeply and get people's, like, conspiracy theories and stuff. But what I do know, and I do believe, is that everything hit worse in 2020 for me. Everything hit so much worse. And I blamed it all on my mom's death. But I don't believe that would physically change my whole physical life immediately and then still not be able to recover. No. I'm getting things added on, like my ear blockage. I'm looking up, and there's actually, people are getting tinnitus because of COVID or because of COVID vaccine. They're getting tinnitus. Did you know that? No. Because you know why? Because either you don't have it and didn't search it up. That's probably why. If you don't know that that's going on, it's because you don't have it and you didn't search it up. Because that's not well known. It's not something, and the whole brain fog and the whole like my brain feeling full of water. It's unfortunate that it happens to someone like me that already had brain fog, that already had anxiety, that already had... I know I've said this several times, but it's way more clear to me that something else is going on as well as my mental illnesses and my physical disabilities. Like through the arthritis and stuff. And the obesity. If we want to call that a disability. I don't know. it doesn't feel like a disability. It just feels like uncomfortable, like life choices. But whatever. It's addiction and OCD and mental states. But I know. And that's why I was thinking maybe the dryness is part of that too, like the scalp thing. But that doesn't matter. It doesn't affect me as much as like everything else, right? Like some days are worse than others where I'm actually hearing like you know when a TV is on but there's no channels on, but there's this electric hum in the background. That's what I hear. And it's also, it's like when I hear that, it's also on top of like a plugged feeling. There's no fire. Anyway, I guess that's my bell to go. I had some other things I wanted to talk about. But maybe not. Probably most people would be like, oh, let me go check it out. There must be a fire. No, it's not. I promise you. Okay. I'll do another video tomorrow or something. I have more things that I would like to talk about. But that's probably very annoying. Okay, love you, bye.